Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and the first special video I made. Why a special video? The channel just reached 2,000 subscribers, and as a thank you, I like to do something special. Because in this video, I'm going to be listing the 50 best albums from what is often considered the or one of the best years in music. So, I'm gonna start this list, 50 records. I'm gonna keep the description and my story with regard to the record short, but I'm gonna go through the 50 best albums from 1967, and trust me, you'll be astonished of all the beauty that was released in this year. Starting off, number 50, Van Morrison, Blowing Your Mind. This is the first album by Van Morrison. It sounds beautiful, it sounds warm, it has very, very good songs. His first solo album, that is. And he kicks it off with Brown Eyed Girl. And if you listen to this is the second pressing, I believe. But the American vinyl, the quality of this sound, awesome album. On the number 50, Van Morrison, Blowing Your Mind. I'm gonna make some mistakes probably in this video because it's gonna be a one-taker. I only want to do one-takers. Also as a filmmaker, I'm a filmmaker by profession. I try to do as many one-takers as possible. I just like the energy of it. So if I make a mispronunciation, I don't like those things, you know. But it's gonna happen in 50 albums, you know. On number 49, Blues is King by B.B. King. This is the most gorgeous live album of B.B. King, recorded live in Chicago. It has very good songs. Tired of Your Jive, Buzz Me, Waiting on You. This man is on fire. Is it level of Life with the Regal? Well, it comes close. On number 49, B.B. King, Blues is King. 48, one of those Summer of Love albums. Triangle by the Bo Brummels. This is a kind of hippie, folky, friendly album. It's very sweet. It will get you into the vibe of the Summer of Love. Beautiful, lovely album, which was actually released in the 1967 50 Years of Summer of Love edition. So this is a record from 2017 in a beautiful mono pressing. Awesome album. On the that was number 48. 47. Ooh, this is also so many great albums. Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues with the London Festival Orchestra, conducted by Peter Knight. Now, this album is smashing. It has their big hit Nights in White Satin, but overall, in general, this is quite something. I mean, could have been top 5 material in different years, but 1967 is just an amazing year. And we're gonna go to position 46. Yeah, this is 46. And I've got a beautiful album of the Young Rascals here, Groovin'. Now, this is the first American pressing from on stereo. They are a kind of, how can I say this? Monkeys-like band, very cheerful, very friendly, very American teeny bop market, and this is a masterpiece in that regard. It's so joyful, it's so friendly, it's a lovely album, lovely band. I also made a video about a comparison from this one with the Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab one, and yeah, that's interesting, so you can find it on my channel. On 46, 45, already big guns, you know, already big guns because I got Wild Honey by the Beach Boys here. This was such an interesting moment in their career, the late 60s, when they were searching for the sound Brian Wilson was on the edge of losing it, and they made an amazing album with Wild Honey. I really, really dig this one. On 45, we are going to 44, and this is a first American pressing of Up, Up and Away by the Fifth Dimension. This is a wonderful soul album. It It's warm. It's amazing. It has very good songs. Go Where You Wanna Go, for example. Pattern People. Learn How to Fly. California My Way. This is, if you're into soul, this is one of the albums to own. It's a really good soul album. On 44. I'm moving towards 43. Oh yeah, oh another one. This one is in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. It's Country Joe and the Fish. And the album is called Electric Music for the Mind and Body. I really enjoyed it. This is a kind of country acid element. I mean, Country Joe and the Fish were very big when they played Woodstock. And they're mostly remembered for their Woodstock show. But this is actually the album to accompany that show. Great album. I constantly want to tell you more about the albums. But I know this is going to be a long video. I don't want to make it too long. Country Joe and the Fish on 43. 42. John Mayall, Crusade. Now, I think this is one of the best albums by John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers. They are on fire here. They play songs by, for example, Albert King, Oh Pretty Woman. They got some originals, Tears in My Eyes. It's I Can't Quit You Baby by Willie Dixon, originally by Willie Dixon. Checking on My Baby by Sonny Boy Williamson. This is an awesome blues album. And somehow I never give too much credit or attention to John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers on this channel. I don't know why. I'll promise you, in the future I'm going to make a top 5 albums of John Mayall. And this one will be in there, Crusade. On number 41, I've been hunting this down. I was looking for this for quite some time. The Wicked Pickett by Wilson Pickett. This is an awesome soul album. This man has a voice. It's just incredible. I mean, great songs here. Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. His rendition of Knock on Wood that is on this album will blow your mind. So many good songs. A lot of cover songs, obviously. Nothing You Can Do with Bobby Womack. Awesome album. On 41. Now I gotta move some of the vinyl around because I can't stack them all here. For the number 40 spot. Yes. And number 40. I'm gonna stick close to some teeny boppers, if I can call it like that. Some teen albums. But this is the kind of album that made a teen band a serious pop group. Headquarters by the Monkees. Now, I really enjoy listening to this album. It is... You know, the Monkees were struggling with their image. Like, they were not taken serious because of their television show. They were seen as... how can I say that? This pure commercialism. And this album shows them on a very inventive and beautiful level. It is really worthwhile, and it's, I wouldn't call it a lost treasure because now and then you see it, and there are a lot of fans of this album online, but we gotta keep the love for the Monkees going. This is a good one. This is a very good album. On number 40, Headquarters. On number 39, Frank Sinatra and Antonio Carlos Jobim with the beautiful album, and the album is just called Francis Albert Sinatra and Antonio Carlos Jobim. This is one of the best Frank Sinatra albums. Period. It's also in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, so you gotta hear it before you die. Which is basically the case. If you want to listen to music, you should do it before you die. It opens with The Girl from Ipanema, which is a beautiful song, and I think Sinatra's version is better than the original, than the Gets Gilberto one. No, it's seriously that good, and the sound, the quality, the texture. This is Sinatra and on a whole different level. It is amazing. On 39. 38. Another soul funk classic. But this one, I mean, on 38 already. This one, it's so good. Four Tops, Reach Out, one of the best soul albums ever. I mean, this is Motown at its finest hour. These guys have so many hits. This album is packed with so many great songs. The dynamics of these voices. If you put this on, Reach Out, I'll be there. There are so many songs that you just recognize which have such a powerful impact. The Four Tops are on fire here, and this album is just purely amazing. Four Tops, Reach Out on 38. 37. Oh, this is a good one as well. Ooh, Sonny Boy Williamson, more real folk blues. Awesome album, awesome blues album. Are you into blues? If you're not into blues, this might be a good one to start with. It has such a beautiful, full sound. Sonny Boy Williamson is an exciting artist. And this one on the Chess label, it's just the core of beautiful 60s blues. And I love it. On 37. 37. It's tough to keep the numbers in my head, you know? Am I right? 37? 37. And on 36, what we have here is a beautiful jam of country. Merle Haggard, I'm a Lonesome Fugitive. It took me an incredible amount of time to find this in the Netherlands. The country tradition just didn't spark here like it did in the United States, or I believe even in the UK. So it's tough to find the rare classic ones, but this might even be Merle Haggard's masterpiece. And it's on 36. I mean, what an amazing year. Title track, all these tracks. His stories are amazing. This is beautiful country. I'm looking forward to putting it on again. When I'm just talking about it, looking forward to putting it on. And Skid Row, my rough and rowdy ways. It's a beautiful album. On 36, Merle Haggard, I'm a Lonesome Fugitive. On 35, another big gun of the bands. I'm even wondering why is it at 35, but there's just so much more good coming. Their Satanic Majesty's Request by the Rolling Stones. And this is an amazing album. I mean, I did a video on this, a full review video, which you can find on my channel because it's part of the Rolling Stones series, so I'm gonna keep it short. But when you listen to this, a first UK pressing stereo with She's a Rainbow, you're in love. You're just in love. Amazing album. There's Satanic Majesty's Request at 35. And 34, another big name. Bob Dylan, John Wesley Harding. And this is not the kind of Dylan you might expect. Because after Blonde on Blonde, he had his motorcycle accident. Or was it after this? I'm not precisely sure. I think it might have been around this time that he had a motorcycle accident. Yet he left the popular culture and the big cities, and he went to live in Woodstock. And there, a countryer version of Bob Dylan started to arise. And a lot of people thought the world is burning, late 60s, a lot is going on. We want the opinion of Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan said, no, I'm going to get to the roots of American music. And John Wesley Harding is one of those albums. It has a beautiful hit of his. Actually made a hit by Jimi Hendrix, but I love his original version as well. All Along the Watchtower. And be sure to find an American, or this is a Canadian, original Canadian copy. It blows away all the others. Beautiful album. John Wesley Harding at 34. And we're going to continue. Tim Buckley, Goodbye and Hello by Tim Buckley. This is one of Tim Buckley's best albums. It is still very it's creative. It has acid influences. It's a bit weird. The sound of his voice is a bit weird, so it might take some time to get into, but once you do, there is something very interesting going on with Tim Buckley. And this album, contains a lot of his power. So on 33, Tim Buckley, Goodbye and Hello. And I'm gonna move to the spot 32. Oh, I was so lucky to find this. An original copy of Big Brother and the Holding Company. Now, Big Brother and the Holding Company was the first band, or the band that made her famous, of Janis Joplin. And I never listened to anything of this album until I found, by coincidence, this pressing for about $10 in a store here. And it sounds spectacular, and I really, really enjoy it. It's just so fascinating to hear Janis Joplin before she became the big Woodstock celebrity, and before her solo career as well. But there is another Big Brother and the Holding Company album which is also amazing. This one is really powerful. There are elements of rhythm and blues in here, of swing, of... it's just a great album. If you can find it, buy it. There's too little spoken about this one. It's all about the other one, but this one is very good as well. On 32, Big Brother and the Holding Company. On 31, the first album by Humble Pie, which I just recently discovered. First UK pressing, a friend of mine bought it, but didn't enjoy it that much, so I could have it for a small amount of money. It is a beautiful sounding album. It's a very creative kind of rock. It has a beautiful rough sound to it, relatively rough for the days, but their melodies are so catchy. It's such a beautiful, catchy album. I really enjoy this album. On 31, Humble Pie. Now we're moving to the big 30. And I gotta move around a bit. So, just a second. Yeah. On the number 30, I'm gonna put another live album. And this one by Otis Redding. Live in Europe. Now, why a live album by Otis Redding? Otis Redding live is a very unique experience. And in 1967 he also played the Monterey Pop Festival. The images that were shot there are just completely amazing, and the way he holds an audience is mesmerizing, and you can hear that as well on this album. The sense of an Otis Redding live show. This man has such a powerful voice. He's so involved with the audience, and there is so much energy going on between the audience and him. I mean, take a look at the songs Respect, which is originally by him, not by Aretha Franklin. It's originally an Otis Redding song. Can't Turn You Loose. I've been loving you for too long now, and I don't want to stop. It's so good. And after that, My Girl, talking about My Girl, and Shake, which, I mean, these are sort of like, this is the Monterey Pop setlist, you know, for, yeah, a lot of this times. This is the Monterey Pop setlist, and he's playing it brilliantly. He does an amazing rendition of Satisfaction, Day Tripper of the Beatles. He covers it. These Arms Are Mine. Oh, this is so good, so good. Otis Redding, live in Europe, on the number 30, and the number 29. Another amazing. It just keeps. 1967 is the gift that keeps on giving, man. The year that keeps on giving. It's so good. 29. So lucky to have this. Buffalo Springfield again. Buffalo Springfield is such an exciting band. Neil Young's involvement is just really amazing. And if I can point one song out, Expect Him to Fly. I mean, the entire album is obviously great and a masterpiece. But Expect Him to Fly is one of the best songs of the 60s. One of the best songs ever. And the way it sounds, the softness, the tenderness. It's a really exciting band. On number 29, Buffalo Springfield again. Now, on 28, Vanilla Fudge, the self-titled album. Now, I'm not sure are there any Quentin Tarantino fans on this channel? This is an album Quentin Tarantino has listened to a lot because he's included 2 songs of Vanilla Fudge in his films, and I believe She's Not There. I believe he did include She's Not There from this one. She's Not There. This contains for me sort of like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood feel. Vanilla Fudge is a band that has such a beautiful edge. You hear a lot of spaciousness in this recording, and they do sort of like trippy but more rough, trippy renditions of how can I say this? Well-known songs of those days. For example, they open with Ticket to Ride. Then you get a Curtis Mayfield song, People Get Ready. Then side 2, She's Not There, which is amazing. Then the 4th song is Bang Bang. That might also be one of those songs that Tarantino used. Or he listened to this one and then put another song of Bang Bang. You shut me down, bang bang. I hit the ground, bang bang. That awful sound, my baby shut me. Illusions of my childhood. A lot of illusions of my childhood. Eleanor Rigby, the end of Eleanor Rigby. And that's the amazing thing of Vanilla Fudge. They can start a song and you have no idea where they're going, but you know where they end. And it's a kind of trip you want to take. You go along with Vanilla Fudge. They improvise. They were of a very big influence to bands like Deep Purple. Amazing band. On the number 28, Vanilla Fudge. 27. Another one of the big guns. Jimi Hendrix. Axis Bold as Love. What can I say about this album? It is very, very good. But I did a top 5 video on the best Jimi Hendrix albums, and if you want me to elaborate on this album, watch the top 5 of Jimi Hendrix albums. And I might say the same thing about the next album, not that this is a Jimi Hendrix album, but I did a video on Between the Buttons, a standalone review. Please feel free to watch that. This is the highest ranking Rolling Stones album here. It's really good. I enjoy it a lot. There are a lot of great songs here. They're very cheerful. Perhaps this might be their most British album? Who knows? This is on number 26. Rolling Stones, Between the Buttons. 26. And now, we're halfway there. Living on a Prayer. Number 25. The first jazz album in this list. The Real McCoy by McCoy Tyner. This was one of the first Blue Note albums I bought. Because it was part of the new classic albums, classic vinyl series. Which is actually another label and a switch in mastering engineer from the classic series they did before. But this is a spectacular series. The audio quality is incredible. Kevin Gray masters these albums. If you're not into jazz, go ahead and buy one of these classic vinyl series of Blue Note and you'll love it. It's a great way to start your a jazz collection. And this album is spectacular. There's so much going on. I mean, it has Elvin Jones on drums. It has Joe Henderson. What more can you desire? One of the big Blue Note classics. On 25, McCoy Tyner, the real McCoy. Now we're going to 24, and another album of Otis Redding. As a matter of fact, a duet album, or an album, a collaboration album. It's Otis Redding and Carla Thomas, King and Queen. Beautiful album. Opens with Knock on Wood. Not the first time Knock on Wood is in this list. I believe it's one of those spectacular or great hits from the days. It also had Bring It Home to Me, which is originally a Sam Cooke song. And I really like Sam Cooke's rendition, but I also really love this one. As a matter of fact, if you listen a lot to Otis Redding, you will find a lot of Sam Cooke originals. We should never forget Sam Cooke. I mean, I should do a top 5 on Sam Cooke someday. I'll promise you guys, I'll make a top 5 of Sam Cooke songs. I'll make a top 5 of Otis Redding albums. I haven't done that yet. Why haven't I done a top 5 on Otis Redding yet? He's amazing. This album is amazing. We are heading towards 23. And what I have here, songs of Leonard Cohen. Now, I should take a look at the set list here, because I don't know them by heart, the songs. But seriously, this album opens with Suzanne. Suzanne takes you down to a place near the river. And then you have, on the other side, So Long Marianne and Hey That's No Way to Say Goodbye. All the songs are good here. This is a song with incredible albums. This is an album with incredible songs. And Leonard Cohen carries them. It's a beautiful way to get started in his career. I did a top 5 on Leonard Cohen albums, by the way. So if you're interested in Leonard Cohen and you want to start listening to his work, go ahead and watch the top 5 video. This album is a great way to start a Leonard Cohen collection, or to start getting into him, because the songwriting here is just incredible. On 22, The Byrds, Younger Than Yesterday. Now, one of the finest moments of the Byrds. One of the finest moments of the Byrds. And taking a look at this cover, I think that I really should spend a little more time on my channel talking about the Byrds. So I'm gonna promise you, I'm gonna do a top 5 video about the Byrds, and this one is gonna be in there. Awesome album. And on the number 21, I have a little bit of Dutch pride. Groeten uit Grollo by Cuby and the Blizzards. Luckily, this is one of the most well-known albums from the Netherlands. Especially in the circles of blues lovers, people know Groeten uit Grollo by Cuby and the Blizzards. There are some amazing moments here. Another Day, Another Road. And what I really love, and that's also a song that I included in a film of mine, Somebody Will Know Someday. I believe also Anton Corbijn included Somebody Will Know Someday, or was it a different song from Cuby and the Blizzards? Through the Window of My Eyes. Anton Corbijn made The American, and he included Through the Window of My Eyes. So many great songs. King of the World, Baby Please Don't Go. The interesting thing here is, this band comes from the Dutch countryside. And they are from far away from the town. They were living in a small farm together, and they made music there. And you can really feel this is somewhat Dutch roots meeting the American blues tradition. And I rarely think that a white vocalist can nail the blues. I rarely think that. Exception for Paul Rodgers, maybe. But my number one white blues singer, ones that have conviction, because I think that's really hard in the blues, is Harry Musquet, the man called Cuby. And this is a masterpiece of the blues, really, of the blues. It's an incredible, full sounding blues album, and I really love it. And I made a documentary about the piano player on this album, Herman Brood, because later on Herman Brood became a big star in the Netherlands. He even had a hit in America called Saturday Night. Herman Brood and his Wild Romance. And the film I made is called Brood, by the way. So if you would like to watch that, you can drop me a note. I might send you a link. On the number 21, Groeten uit Grollo. So we're almost at a half-hour video now. So thank you all for being involved and staying watching here. But it's only gonna get better, because right now we're gonna move into the top 20. And I'm gonna kick off the top 20 with a rare gem of a masterpiece. Nico, Chelsea Girl. The first album by Nico. I mean, and this is not the only Nico album or Nico involved album in this list, as you might already suspect. Nico went away from the Velvet Underground and started to do a solo career. And as a fact, she doesn't like this album herself. She thinks the album that came afterwards was much more of her own voice. Yet, why she would disregard this album beats me. It's a masterpiece. It's dark, poppy tunes. The Fairest of the Seasons is gorgeous. The title song, Chelsea Girls, is also brilliant. Winter Song. Her German voice and her whisper, her sore, somewhat sore throat is just mesmerizing. Nico, Chelsea Girl, on number 20. On number 19, another Beach Boys album, Smiley Smile. Well, around this time, Brian Wilson was, I can't say insane. I think this might be his most brilliant period, including Pet Sounds. And the albums and the songs that come from the Smiley Smile or the Smile period are just amazing. Later on, there was also a release, I believe in 2003 or 2004, which is called the Smile Sessions. I also have that. It's also very special, but my heart mostly goes out to this original release, in which they somewhat simplified what Brian Wilson was doing because they were afraid that they might lose their audience. But it has still so many great songs. Heroes and Villains, Vegetables, What's Your Favorite Vegetable? Good Vibrations is on here. Good Vibrations. This is a masterpiece. It's an often overlooked masterpiece. They were on fire here. But not all of them understood what they were doing. Do you have to understand what you're doing to be brilliant? I'm not sure. Really, I'm not sure. On the number 19, Smiley Smile. On the number 18, somebody who's clearly brilliant and understood what he was doing. The Mothers of Invention, of course, Frank Zappa. With Frank Zappa, I'm not saying that it's solely Frank Zappa. Absolutely free. The second album made by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. It's crazy. It's wild. It's unique. I really want to do a top 5 on Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention's albums, really. I did some top 5 live albums and the top 5 studio albums of Frank Zappa. And I'm actually thinking, because I'm going to start a new series soon called Mono or Stereo. And I'm going to look into the difference between mono and stereo. And I have both the stereo copy and the mono copy of this album. And they are also widely different. So very interesting. So I might also plan a video on that with this album. For now, on number 18, absolutely free by the Mothers of Invention. On number 17, hear me out, one of the most impressive San Francisco bands. I believe this is San Francisco based. This is a San Francisco based band, Moby Grape, with the brilliant Skip Spence still involved. Skip Spence later on left the band, and Moby Grape is a band notorious for having a lot of potential. I mean, they were. I worked with a Dutch reviewer who was reviewing albums early on in the 60s until recently. He did radio programs. He worked with people like John Cale, also recording shows for Dutch television and Dutch radio. And I asked him, what is the best band people have not heard of? And he said, Moby Grape. Without a doubt. I saw them play, he said. And he said, don't even mention the Grateful Dead or Jefferson Airplane. His words, not mine. He said, Moby Grape was the best band in those days. Those musicians all were brilliant. And they had power and they had conviction. And you know what? If you put this album on, you're going to find out what he was talking about. A rare gem of an album. A true masterpiece. On the number 17, Moby Grape's self-titled album. On 16, another big gun. Another big gun band-wise. the Beatles with the Magical Mystery Tour. Now, I already did a video on the Magical Mystery Tour, so I'm gonna keep it short. You can find the video in my channel. I think this is an underestimated Beatles album. Just because it came after Sgt. Pepper's and before the White Album doesn't make this, should not make this invisible. There are loads of incredible songs on here. And please, if you find a German Hörzu pressing, do yourself a favor. Because you're not gonna hear the Beatles in better quality than that. That's, by the way, a different cover than this. I wanted to hold the original cover. A masterpiece. Seriously, this is a masterpiece. Magical Mystery Tour. On 16. Right? Yeah. On 15. Another blues album. Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign. First time I put this on, it blew me away. This is a beautiful electric Chicago blues album. It has so much power. Albert King is an incredible songwriter, but also an incredible performer. It opens with Born Under a Bad Sign, which is just a killer of a blues track. It's really grooves, it really vibes. And the entire album is just smash after smash after smash. I said it about Sonny Boy Williamson, but if you're really new to blues, this might be an incredible way to get started. I think it's one of the best blues albums ever. And if you can still order it, the Speaker's Corner pressing, which is a completely analog production, is the most incredible sounding vinyl. I love this LP. On the number 15. Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign. Here on number 14. Love Forever Changes. And about a month ago, somebody in a record store told me he had an original one. An original stereo one, nevertheless, but an original stereo one for sale. And when I'm holding this copy, although this is a very good copy, this is the Rhino copy, I kind of regret not buying it. Why? This is one of the essential Summer of Love albums. There is so much cheerfulness going on. There is so much... basically, am I gonna say it? Love going on? Yeah, there's so much love going on. It sounds like these might be complex songs. There are interesting layers. Very, very much good tunes, good melodies. I believe this was also one of the big hits from 1967, so might not be a surprise to have this in the list. Yet, holding it, I realize I should play this again, perhaps tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna play it straight on after the list. I'm gonna put it aside here. I'm gonna put it aside. It's just so nice. Now, on number 13, The Doors, Strange Days. One of the best Doors albums. Man, they're opening with the song Strange Days, and then Here Loves the Little Girl. Little girl, he goes up. Love Me Two Times. Moonlight Drive, which is pure magical. Pure magical. And then side two, People Are Strange when you're a stranger. My eyes have seen you. And ending with an 11-minute version of When the Music's Over. Epic. A complete epic. And it should be mentioned in one name with their first self-titled album. They were of incredible quality. And what I'm holding is a first stereo copy from the US, which I luckily enough found here in Amsterdam for about 20 bucks. And the sound is delicious. It's delicious. It's a delicious album. On number 12. And on number 13. Number 13. I'm going to the number 12. Which I have recently found an original mono pressing of. Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. And it does have a ring here, I know that. I was so lucky that this is an original pressing from 1967, a mono pressing, and the vinyl is near mint. So I put this on last December, just when I got back from Denmark. I made a video about finding vinyls in Denmark. And this, it's like a time machine. And her voice and the overall sound quality and the groove. And there are so many great songs. It is... I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this one. Opening with Respect, an Otis Redding song. And ending with A Change Is Gonna Come, a Sam Cooke song. And there are so many great songs in between, but the quality of this, the sound, her conviction, Aretha Franklin was a brilliant musician. A brilliant musician, and this is at the core of her qualities. In any other year, this would have made a number 1 in a top 5 or a top 50. 1967 just keeps on giving, and Aretha Franklin's I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You is a gem, a masterpiece. Love it. Going to the number 11. I'm gonna put some Captain Beefheart in here. Oh yeah. Safe as Milk. This was the album that got me involved with Captain Beefheart. And what I'm holding here is the mono pressing. The mono and the stereo have big differences. I will do a video about that in the mono versus stereo series that I'm gonna do. This album is not only the crazy Captain Beefheart, which we get to know later on in his career, but that element of craziness is here, but he's also accessible. There is also an element of pop brilliance here, and rhythm and blues brilliance. And this album, it's just incredible. Abba Zappa, Zigzag Wanderer. I actually want to put this on as well. I'm really in the mood for some of these albums. We're moving towards the top 10. The 10 best albums from 1967. And everything that I'm holding here are just the big classic albums. It's such an amazing year. On the number 10, Something Else by the Kinks. One of my favorite Kinks albums. I've also done a video on the best 5 Kinks albums. You can watch it on my channel. Opening with David Watson, Devil for Clown. My makeup is dry as it cracks down my chin. I'm drowning my sorrow in whiskey and gin. I mean, it's just... I don't necessarily want to sing on this channel, but some of these songs just make me immediately want to sing because the melodies are so close to my heart, and the combination of the melodies and the lyrics are sometimes part of your collective conscious, the upper layer of your conscience. I'm not making any sense, but I love it so much. You know, I love it so much. Lazy Old Sun, End of the Season, Waterloo Sunset. Oh, so many great songs. This is the Kinks at their best, at their finest hour. On the number 10, Something Else by the Kinks. Where am I gonna put them? Yeah, here. On number 9, Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane. When you've got Somebody to Love on side 1, and you have White Rabbit on side 2, what else can you do? I mean, this is the 60s, the psychedelic hippie moments in its full glory. I love it. I really, really love it. I play this record a lot. And actually, all of these songs are good. As a matter of fact, I believe Skip Spence from Moby Grape was involved here. Isn't he either it's here or it's the first album of Jefferson Airplane, but he did get involved with Jefferson Airplane. Jerry Garcia is the musical and spiritual advisor. Interesting. I might look that up. I'm gonna look into the Skip Spence and Jefferson Airplane link. On the number 9, Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane. Number 8, Cream, Disraeli Gears. One hell of a record. I mean, opening with Strange Brew. Strange Brew, look what's inside of you. And immediately afterwards you get Sunshine of Your Love. This is Cream's finest hour. There's an element of blues there. There's an element of psychedelica. This is such an incredible album. Love it. Disraeli Gears by Cream on the number 8 spot. Oh yes. Number 7. Same time these incredible bands in London were just amazing. And the number 7 spot will be from The Who, Sellout. One hell of a record. I think this is one of the most misunderstood albums. The concept of this album is that of a radio show on a pirate radio station. So you hear fake commercials here. And that idea, that concept, and the idea of concept albums, which got Pete Townsend to start making Tommy. But that idea of a concept makes this a really exciting album. And you have so many great songs here. I mean, Can't Reach You. I love that one. Armenia City in the Sky is incredible. I Can See for Miles. When you listen to the mono version of I Can See for Miles, and this is an original mono, I'm gonna do a comparison video on this album with the Classic Records one and the recent reissue. But if you find an original mono, regardless whether you want to buy a reissue, buy it. I mean, this is a beautiful rare gem and it has such an incredible sound. If everybody would have listened to the mono version of this album, this would be in so many more great album lists. For now, on number 6. No, it's number 7. The Who, Sellout. On number 6, another London band with another 1967 masterpiece. I'm holding The Piper at the Gates of Dawn by Pink Floyd. Their Syd Barrett years captured in one magical album. I mean, the experience of listening to this, opening with Astronomy Domine. Pink Floyd will take you everywhere on this album. It is just an incredible journey, and this is one of their big masterpieces. On number 6, Pink Floyd, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And we're entering the top 5. And I've got an odd one out here. You gotta have an odd one out in a list. A masterpiece by Nina Simone. Nina Simone Sings the Blues. Everything about this album to me is magical. First of all, the idea that Nina Simone is going to sing you blues. There are, of course, a lot of jazz elements in there. But there is an intimacy here. I think this is one of her finest hours. She opens with Do I Move You? And she is so fragile on this record. And there are so much brilliant songs in here. The lyrics are just Nina Simone at her best. I want a little sugar in my bowl. She does a rendition of The House of the Rising Sun. This is... Whenever I see someone in a record store, and these moments are there, and they are looking through Nina Simone albums, and they find it, and I've had it 2 or 3 times, and I saw someone doubt, like, shall I buy this album? And every time I say, please, for your own sake, take it home. You don't find it that often. I mean, the fact that I have had 2 or 3 times people seeing it might indicate that you can find it pretty often. You can't find it that often. When I see someone find it, I spend a lot of time in record stores. Take it home. And when I get enthusiastic, people always take it home. And they should. They should, because it's a gorgeous record. On number 5, Nina Simone Sings the Blues. On number 4, Jimi Hendrix, are you experienced? I mean, I'm holding the European cut, the German cut, but I should actually be holding the American cut because I think the track list of that one is even better. This is the most magical moment of Jimi Hendrix. His best songs, the most powerful. I really enjoy Electric Ladyland as well. But this is just a kick in the guts, and there are so many great moments on this record. It is the finest hour of Jimi Hendrix. On number 4. On number 3, The Doors, Self-Titled. This got me through my teenage years. Late teenage years. One of the best debut albums ever. As a matter of fact, the number 1 album, and this is also a debut, also a self-titled debut. You know what's gonna come. But when you open with Break On Through to the Other Side, masterpiece, then you get Soul Kitchen, The Crystal Ship, 20th Century Fox, Alabama Song, Light My Fire, Backdoor Man, I Looked At You, End of the Night, Take It As It Comes, and the end. I mean, several of the songs on here belong amongst the best songs ever written. In one album. This is just astonishing. It is astonishing. The Doors. On number 3. On number 2. Can't leave this one out. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I mean, we're in the area of albums that changed my life. When I heard this for the first time, I remember it very clearly. I was 16 years old, and my teacher borrowed me a CD of this album because I really wanted to listen to the Sgt. Pepper, but my parents did not have any Beatles albums at home, or on CD, or this one. Yeah, they had, I believe, A Hard Day's Night. I didn't enjoy it back then, but I really wanted to listen to this one, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So my music teacher borrowed it to me, and I sat down in front of my stereo, and with nothing in my hands, nothing else to do, I was purely listening. What I do now, of course, more often, but being age 16, it was different, and I was just blown away, song after song, blown away, and this is obviously one of the finest albums in music history. I mean, what else? And number 1, The Velvet Underground and Nico, best album of 1967. What is left to say? I mean, great song after great song after great song. One of the most influential albums ever. Everything I'm saying right here about this record, I have said about other albums in this list. It's just an amazing year. And this, for me, is the essential album. I really love The Velvet Underground and Nico. But I love all these albums. 1967 is an amazing year. And I'd like to thank you for watching. This is by far my longest video. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Are there albums you are missing in this list? And for the next special, when I hit 3,000 subscribers, what should I do? Which kind of special would you like me to make? For now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.